haven't been to your group in 2 weeks. You missed 2 weeks.
Yeah, the second week I was too tired. Way too tired.
Yeah.
I wasn't even catching enough sleep when we got back from California because the drive was insane on the way back. I mean, on the way out there, it's like, oh, it's easy. 2 days, boom, done.
Well, it was easy for you. It wasn't easy for me, but yeah. We got through it faster going out there. Going back, it was neither one of us.
We detoured twice.
Well, neither one of us wanted to be in the car, so.
You went the wrong way like twice.
Well,
You're going through the mountains for old people. Old people go through the mountains. You know why I say that? People ask me, why do you say that? I'm like, the whole time we were up there, I'd never seen a young couple.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was in RVs.
You're talking about on our way to Prescott. I went the mountain way, the back way. Because the GPS said it was faster.
Definitely wasn't faster. Definitely made me sick. Up the hill, down the hill, up 3,000 feet. Oh, we're at 5,000 feet. We're at 6,000. Oh no, now we're back at sea level.
It's because we went the lower way because of where we were at in Southern California. We went out the 10 instead of going up the north way and then back down. You know, because Prescott's like in the middle. You know, so instead of going all the way up and then all the way back down, we went all the way across and then up. See, makes sense. It's just a different way. But anyways, yeah. And then last Thursday we made a video we were on our way to the Akashic Records thing. And then after we were done with that, it was dark. It was really dark because we didn't even get out of there until like 10 o'clock at night. Or really late it was anyways. It was super dark. So we couldn't make a video. I was having to make sure deers weren't on the road. Mm-hmm. But we had a very, very, very interesting conversation on the way home from that.
Of what? We were irritated in the car for so long. So when we got back, we were fighting. But besides that, everything was good.
We weren't fighting.
I was irritated. You were irritated. You were yelling at me for nonsense. I was yelling at you for nonsense.
No, we weren't really fighting. You're exaggerating. You're exaggerating.
Well, we were having a verbal fight.
Well, I just got mad because you kept wanting to stop. And then when you would stop, you'd smoke your cigarette, and then you'd stand there for another 20 minutes.
I got mad because I had severe anxiety.
Right, and I just wanted to get on the road and get to where I needed to go before it got dark because I was already getting tired. So I was aggravated about it because I just wanted to drive. Oh, no, sorry.
I was trying to get in.
Yeah. So, but that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about when we went to the Akashic Records reading. On the way home from that, we were talking about some... Are you listening to me?
Yes, we're talking.
We were talking about some really interesting things that we didn't get make a video about because it was so dark in the car.
You're like, oh, that's what you should talk about in the video. Like that.
Yeah.
Those things, those moments when I talk about things.
Right, yes.
I have those moments where I'm actually talking about something interesting. Mom's like, you should talk about those in the video.
Yes.
I'm like, well, I wasn't thinking about it at that moment.
And then you'll tell me, oh, let's make a video today. But then I start the video and this is what you do. You're like non-communicative and you're on your phone. And, you know, so I'm like, okay, maybe you really don't want to make a video. I don't know. But yeah. So last Thursday we went to this Akashic Records reading, which I know what the Akashic Records are, but I had never actually gone to like a group reading. And so it was my first time, and I've been meaning to do it for months, but always something came up. Twice I got halfway up there, and it was snowing, and I had to turn around and come back, which is very unusual in Central Texas.
Yes.
So, I mean, and I was so tired, like, I really didn't even want to go on Thursday, and you kind of didn't want to go either. You normally don't go to stuff like that with me.
Nope, I never go anywhere with you, anywhere at night.
Like that.
Besides my art class.
But I'm like, oh, you want to come?
I was too tired.
You know, so neither one of us really wanted to go, but we ended up going.
Something was pulling us to go.
And it was pretty cool. You want to talk about it?
What, the group thing?
Yeah, just in general.
Sure, you start. I don't know how to bring it up.
Well, first of all, we met a very interesting person there.
Well, interesting group, period. I thought everyone was interesting.
Oh, well, true. Everybody was really interesting. Yeah. It was, I mean, okay, so let's just say overall, we both afterwards said, no, that wasn't exactly what I expected, and it didn't really seem like it was that big a deal. And then you asked me, how do you know someone isn't bullshitting you? So we had that kind of conversation for a little bit about it. You know, and I realized, like, the Akashic records, or learning to read the Akashic records, is a certain modality. But I feel like in my shamanic practice, I do that already. It's a natural, organic part of what I do. Without,
it's just a different way.
Yeah, without like having this weird structure around it. But there was a lady that came. It was her first time too. And I don't know, you want to describe her, or describe how, you know, that interaction, or how that was? Because we both walked out of that and went, wow.
Well, we both had to get saged.
Yeah.
Mainly me. I brought up the idea, and everyone that was left from the group was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that lady's energy was negative.
It was negative, yeah.
It was so negative, I had to leave the room like 3 times just so I could get fresh air, because I felt like I was getting choked with negativity in that room.
Yeah.
And she was like, the lady was saying, a few years ago, all of a sudden, I was just always thinking negative, and all of a sudden, I'm like, and the first thing I thought in my mind was, you got something attached to you. And she was saying a story.
Right.
Am I allowed to say details about it?
Well, yeah, because nobody knows who she is. We're not telling her name or anything like that. So, I mean, I guess.
I don't know how to explain the story, because it feels like, how do you explain that story? The one with the weird.
She was just talking about like how she was studying. So, well, basically, she got occult poison. She got occult poisoning. You know, she was just studying so much, so many different things. You know, that her mind was like getting really
Overloaded,
distorted, and just
too much knowledge.
It was too much, and like she was having a lot of what the psychiatry industry would call psychotic episodes. We wouldn't call it that shamanically, but in one of these moments, you know, of just like ruminating about the knowledge so much, she felt like she had ripped open a wormhole.
What she did.
And that she was about to get sucked out into it.
What she did.
And that she was very panicked, afraid, you know, because she was like, I don't have a spacesuit, I'm not going to be able to breathe, I'm going to die, and this and that. You know, so...
Well, everyone was throwing out possibilities, and they weren't saying the worst. I came out in the group and I said, you know what you did? You opened that wormhole that you saw the galaxies and stuff, and you were trying to get... Something was pulling you in, but something came out, and you didn't notice. Something came out and attached it to you, and it's been feeding off you ever since. And that's why you're so negative. You always think negative. And that's why I just confronted it like 10 minutes ago, and now you're yelling again in the group, and you're feeling sick, and you have a headache really bad.
She dominated the entire group pretty much, you know, by asking questions.
That's fine with me.
But the Akashic Records questions she was asking were all pertaining to like these episodes that she had. Like she wanted to know, why did I wake up and think I was Jesus for 3 days? And why, like this, you know, and she would give you exact specific dates of everything. And I mean, but she was very, very like tense, a lot of tension. I mean,
too much tension.
It was, you know, and she even said she had given herself a migraine. And so it was very interesting unfolding. And I was quiet totally, because this isn't my show, it's not my circus, and you know, I was just letting the facilitator channel her Akashic records. But it got to the point where I just couldn't, like, we were over halfway through and the lady had dominated, you know, so much of the time, and it was
we were there for 3 hours.
It was very intense, and it got to the point where I couldn't sit silent anymore. So I just started talking to her about, like, from a shamanic point of view, everything she had shared, you know, and then that opened you up to also start talking, and, you know, I think you
I didn't feel like it was my place to talk because it was your friend's group.
Right.
So it didn't feel like my place to talk.
Right.
Because this is about this.
Right.
It's not about shamanism. It's about that.
It's about Akashic records.
Akashic record.
Yes.
So I didn't want to open my mouth up and start saying this.
Right.
And when I do, and then she goes, no, you know, because it's the Akashic records point of view.
Oh.
When I did say something, so I'm like, I felt like I was already shut out of my things.
Right. But I don't feel like she was answering the lady.
She doesn't know how to.
I don't think she was giving her any kind of answers that were. It seemed like it was only frustrating her and aggravating her, getting her worked up even more. Right, the lady? Yeah.
Agitation.
Anyway, that we had a really interesting experience, and then we had a really interesting discussion about her, and I reached out to the lady and gave her my card and offered myself to her, you know, and then Jared was like, well, if you do a healing on her, I want to come. And that's the first time that you've actually, like, had an interest of asking, you know, for me to show you what I do, which I thought was way cool.
I just wanted to go because I felt like I went to the group to meet her. You know, I didn't want to go to the group that night. Right. So obviously we both got pulled into that situation at that moment.
Right.
To be right there to witness her at that point in life where destiny all met up. And that's why I think when we do the healing, I'm supposed to be with you at that time, at that moment. Because now I'm the urge of curiosity to see what's attached to her, because I recognize what's attached to her. I know what it is. I still know what it is. I know what it is.
That's what you were talking about.
I've seen it somewhere. I can't remember where I seen it though.
Because she told a story about how she woke up and she saw something on top of her boyfriend.
And then that threw me a curiosity. I'm like, what happens that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time? That thing, whatever attached to her that day,
and you were saying,
not acknowledged her.
Right. You were saying to me, you were telling me that moment that she saw it, it attached to her.
Yep.
And I was confirming for you, I believe that is exactly what happened.
Because demonic entities, in my point of view, don't like being seen if they're doing something nasty.
Right.
Ooh, I'm getting chills again. See it? See, I know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
So
my body knows what I'm talking about. That's weird.
We had a very interesting discussion. And you also brought up some of your own stuff, the questions that you had in the Akashic Records reading, which I thought were very interesting.
Well, I threw out a first one just to test out to see what she would say. You know, my first vision I had when I meditated, you know, because I wanted to see what she would say, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then I kind of liked the answer, so I threw out my second one when we were all quiet. We were all doing that weird thing. It's weird. Personally, I think it's weird for me, but...
What's weird?
The Akashic record.
Akashic record?
Yes. I still think it's weird. It's not my thing.
It's not your thing?
Nope.
What did you not like about it?
I feel like it's bullshit. I still do.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like bullshit, like she's saying it's coming from a higher source, but it's not.
Or like God. I like how she really uses the word God. I don't like how she does that.
Uh-huh.
Like, I know she's talking about a God, but she didn't specify what God. Is it Jesus' God? Or is it my God? Is it a Hindu God?
Well, I mean...
An Egyptian God? A
Yeah,
Greek God?
True.
A Viking God?
Yeah, but how's that? I'm not sure how that's relevant, really, though, really.
That's one of the things that triggered me in the group about using that. Because she's like, I don't understand it. I'm just frustrated and confused on that. How some people use God in the group.
Well, it wasn't like it was overly... I didn't hear the word God a whole lot.
No, but it's like, you just use it once and it's... Why would they say God? Why not say the universe? It's God's plan, or the universe's plan, or something else. Why does it have to be God?
Oh.
Yeah, now you see what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, kind of, but I mean, that didn't bother me, so...
Of course it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
Well, do you believe in God?
Not one God. Because this is the question I always ask everybody. Well, who created that God? But then other people will be like, well, there's only one God. But no. Whoever created that God, it also has to be a God. There's an infinite amount of gods. Technically, there could be a God of anything. Right?
Yeah, but is the universe God?
There could be a universe God for every universe of gods.
You know?
Let's say if we had 12 universes, there'll be 12 gods.
Anyway, this is getting like way philosophical. I thought what was interesting was, yeah, you threw out your question to her, you liked her answer, so then you continued on and you shared some stuff that you've never shared with me before, so I was fascinated just hearing it. You talked about this thing attached to you.
Yeah.
And you
I like him. He's interesting.
Okay. You told two stories. You told the one about how you switched
Yeah.
consciousness.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Okay, tell that story because it's super interesting.
Okay, there was this one where I was meditating for it was 6 hours because I clocked it. I clocked it on my phone before I started meditating. And then I went and then I meditated. And then like all this happened where I transferred minds with this other guy, but I'm not sure if it's the same world. And then I'm like, but then I transferred minds and this guy transferred into my mind, but I didn't let him while I was in his mind. You know?
You stopped him.
I stopped him.
Cut him off.
I cut him off, but
Blocked him off.
I blocked him off because I was kind of like frightened of what just happened, because it was like an accident, like kind of happened. You know, you're meditating and something just goes boom.
Right.
You swap brains, and you're like, wait, what's going to happen? What? And then I was dressed. I was in the jungle or something on a stream, and I looked up and you could see 3 planets lined up like the moons, like 3 moons. I don't know I don't know anything about star systems, but it had 3 moons. And it looks really cool. And then it got whoever that was got really mad, and then then I just like transferred back to my mind, and I had the feeling where it hated me because I wasn't allowed to see what was on my side of the world, this world, because I was too scared. I was like, man, I checked out his whole area, and he wanted to see my area.
Yeah, but you stopped him.
I stopped him.
Right.
Like a
Right.
mental thing,
Right.
like a shield.
But you did it out of fear, not out of meanness, or it's because it just happened, and then you didn't know what happened, and then you got scared, like, oh, what if I can't get back? Probably, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you blocked him. And what was her answer to you? What did she say about that?
I don't remember. I have a terrible mind.
She said something like how, because it was his idea. It's like, oh yeah, you guys were on the same sort of like plane wavelength, and it was his idea to do it, and it was kind of like you were just there, but because it was his idea and not your idea, then it just kind of happened, and that he learned a lesson from it too, you know, that he should, you know, make sure beforehand that he's invited to do that or whatever, basically.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Yes.
And then you talked about...
my other one, my blue man.
Yeah, talk about that. Your blue man that was attached to you. You were asking her, what is that? You wanted to know what that is. Why are you drinking my water? Because you don't bring your own, ever.
You just noticed now? You're going to laugh when you see this.
Yeah.
You're going to laugh when I took the first sip, and you're going to be like,
You're terrible. I'm stuck in the car for 3 hours waiting for you. Anyway. Talk about your blue man.
my blue man. It sounds weird. My blue man?
Your blue man.
The blue man that's attached to me?
That's attached to you.
I don't know how he was attached to me, but he's attached to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I threw out a good suggestion to the group where I was like, let me explain it to him. How did I explain it in the group? I don't know. I don't even remember how I explained it in the group.
You were talking about when you have a seizure.
Oh, yeah. That's how I kickstarted. Every time I have a seizure, Okay, you go. You tell the story.
I don't know it. I don't know it.
You don't remember me telling it?
No, not
Oh,
really.
fuck.
Just some.
Okay. Well, when you're in the moment, you remember every detail and you say it. You know, like you say it, but it's like I know,
Every time
I know,
you have
I
a
know,
seizure-
I know what you're talking
every
about
time
because
you
I
have a
have it in my
seizure-
head.
Every time you have a seizure, you have an out of body experience
Yeah.
where you're like looking at yourself and seeing yourself from out of your body.
But there's times in my out of body. Yeah. Now, see, you have to kickstart the conversation so I can understand what you're trying to grasp
Mhm.
of what I'm saying. Okay, so there's times where I had seizures where I'm looking out. Like, this is where it gets trippy. You're out of body person. You're looking at yourself. You're floating around, but there's images in my head where I'm floating out of that mind where I see I believe it's an alien creature. It sounds weird when you say it like a energy, a higher self, a higher being floating there. It's like a see-through. Think of tiny see-through blue lights, like a fading blue light, and there's like billions of them that create a person. You know, like a collabed picture and put them together. It's a person, a human being.
Constellation.
Yeah,
like the universe.
Yeah. Kind of like that, but all blue. But like a baby blue, but not too blue. Maybe a little bright blue. You know, I gotta get that solid color, like this blue, kind of. That blue. And then hovering above my body, and I'm hovering above it, seeing it watching me at the same time where I was having that seizure.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get
And
at.
you were saying that it's actually attached to you by a string or a
It's
river.
attached to me by a string on my right foot, to be exact.
Right.
It's got to be exact when you're, because I could be.
And so
I could
your question to her was, I think, what is that?
Why?
Or why?
No, I remember. I asked, why am I the only one? Okay, so let me break this down more because I can't just ask the question. I explained it more to them. I was like, so this is what happened. There was times where I cut the string one time and I was terrified because I floated. I floated and it was gone and I couldn't find that other person and it was gone. I was lost in the darkness and then somehow it made its way back for somehow, I don't know how, but it made it safe back and reconnected to it. So now I've always been scared to cut the little string that's been connected to me. And it's always been curious about me, so that's why it's always hanging around me. But it's like not a negative. You know how people say, oh, demons attached to you. Well, there could be other things attached to you that are not bad. Well, this one's not bad. It's actually just, it likes me and it's curious about me and how my energy is. And I believe that he's higher frequency than me. That's what she was saying. That was the question. I was like, why can't I cut the string and he can't?
Why can you cut the string but
the
he
string,
can't?
yeah, the string that's connected to me and him. Why can I cut the string and he can't? And then the lady goes,
he chooses not to. That's what
he chooses
said.
not to.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I don't think he chooses not to. I think he can't physically. Why? I mean, he could cut it anytime he wants. Technically, I mean, if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I cut the string, but this time I cut it off and left it off. I feel pretty neutral like that.
Oh, you just did it recently?
I left it like that. I left it in the group.
Oh.
From the group. It's quite interesting, though.
Yeah. And her answer to you was, because you didn't know, is that my higher self? And she said no, that wasn't your higher self.
I still think it's my higher self, but a high frequency, higher than me.
She said that, what did she say? That it was an actual different entity than you, not part of your soul, that doesn't even exist in a different dimension. It's like a whole different realm. She said it's a whole different realm.
Would make sense for me.
And so he's actually higher.
Oh yeah, that would make sense because I used to when I was early on becoming a shaman, but I kind of stopped trying to become a shaman because I was experimenting with dimension jumping and trying to reach different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Different dimensions. I kind of
I
picked them up
know, you were
within that
doing all
time.
kinds of stuff you weren't supposed to be doing.
Man, I loved it. I wasn't doing nothing bad.
Well,
I wasn't doing no voodoo stuff. I was doing my stuff where in my curiosity in shamanism and other cultures, I mixed.
It's not that it's bad. It wasn't that it was bad. It was that you were inexperienced and you didn't have a mentor or a guide to really actually like.
I had a guide, my turtle.
Well, yeah, I guess sorta, yeah, but
The turtle showed me the way.
yeah. Oh, okay, all right then.
I've seen it.
Okay then.
I've already seen it.
Seen what?
The turtle showing me the way to dimension things, and that's where I came up with the ideas. Where if I was an astronaut, it'd be fun because I would know where the times of the dimensions opening and closing, because you can't see them with like if there's like a normal person with just a normal frequency, a casual person, they can't see it like normal astronaut people.
Right.
And then with me up there, I'd be like, there it is, right there. I could see it with my eyes. You can see the fluctuations of the energy.
And then you were talking too on the way home about heaven, and you were saying like how to you heaven is just like it's a trap, it's a box, it's like a place inside the dimensions, and that you were saying that you think this is your last incarnation.
Yeah, this is my last incarnation.
And when you go, you're not going to heaven, you're going above that. And I was asking you, well, to define what that means above that. And you were saying, like, outside of the dimensions. Outside of the dimensions. Right?
And then you were like, and then I was like, kind of like God, but I'm not God. Where I'm not messing with everybody. I'm like, I get to be in that space with other people that are like me.
Mm-hmm.
That understand what I'm saying. Because there's people like me that understand.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a heaven and hell, but those are just like people's spirituality is like, oh, heaven, yay, hell, woo, some people love hell, but some people love heaven, and there's and then there's right in the middle, it's a sandwich.
Right.
There's layers of sandwiches. There's right between, you're stuck on the earth, there's hell, there's heaven, there's below heaven, hell, and then there's above heaven and beyond.
Right.
I'm going to go beyond the heavens.
No, I understand.
Basically rising above God in some people's eyes. Because people are going to say like, so you're going to be rising above God technically. So you're saying you're God. No, I'm not saying I'm a God.
You're saying their understanding of heaven is very limited.
Yes.
It's based on a 3D material reality.
Yeah, basically. Because when I was a kid, I thought, man, when I die, I'm going to have a beach full of girls.
Right.
That's going to be my mind right there.
Yeah.
But heaven's just a white box,
and you're saying
and you're speaking to God.
Even as a spiritual place, an ethereal place, that place still exists in the dimension.
Now this is the one question, because everyone asked me, when you died, what did you see? Now, but the funny thing is, when everyone asks everybody, because I looked up articles, I'm like, this is so interesting, because then this theory actually proves mine's actually a white box, because when everyone dies or comes near death, all they see is white space. That means they're inside a white box before they die, and they're talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Either God, or some other being.
Yeah.
That means if that box is what I think it is, I'm going to break through that box to go to the other side of that box.
Right.
And beyond that box could be my heaven in my eyes.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Totally understand. Yeah. Yep.
I'm wearing that necklace I got.
Oh, you want to show off what you made?
Oh, this? I made Mom yeah, look at it, a wine stopper. Look at that pretty color.
What kind of wood's that called?
Purple heart.
Purple heart. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you can't really see it on camera.
Yeah, I can see it.
No, but you can't see the colors it's presenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it hits direct sunlight, you'll see the gloss. It has a reflecting to it, where it reflects.
Yep.
Almost like a foil, like a foil reflection inside the wood. But anyway, yeah, I think going to. You want to add anything to that? What do you think on that? Your personal shamanism.
On what? What you said about heaven?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I totally understand. I agree with you. I think that's how Christian, so-called quote-unquote Christian people end up stuck in the middle world. Honestly.
Yeah, I know.
Because they have a misperception, and because they also carry a secret fear that they're not honest about within themselves, because their religion, sort of puts this seed of doubt in them that, you might not be good enough to make it to heaven. And so if they...
You got to be perfect to go to heaven, in my eyes, I guess. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to heaven nor hell, nor in the middle world. I'm going beyond that.
Right. So, yeah.
Because the Christian's eyes, they're going to say, you're going to go to hell. So all they're going to think is they're going to hell.
Right.
So, they're mind-setting themselves to hell. They're going to hell. Right. I'm mind-setting myself beyond heaven.
Or even having a secret fear that you might not even be conscious of. You might not be consciously even saying those thoughts to yourself.
Oh, like every I like how every Christian out there goes like, I've never sinned, but even though you're sinning, you're people. I met so many Christians that are two-faced, literally. Oh my God, it literally irritates me.
Yeah.
Like all the Christians here.
Well, I mean, that gets into a whole different dynamic and discussion, talking
about but it's like
the shadow and people's subconscious and how aware are
but
they
then
of
again,
who they are.
Because no one's perfect in this world. Everyone's going to sin at least once. And then technically, by the Bible's rules, if you sin, you're going to go to hell. Hopefully Jesus or God forgives you for it.
Well, what even really is sin? It's just what the Bible, what they're saying is in the Bible, what the Bible says is sin. But even then, there's a lot of discrepancy between the Old Testament, the 10 Commandments, versus the New Testament, and the things that Jesus talked about, where he was saying, if you've even looked at a woman lustfully, you've already committed adultery in your heart.
See?
Or if you've even hated your brother, then you've already committed murder in your heart. And this is what I always tell people, because they say, oh, that's dualistic thinking.
Oh, my favorite one, it's in the Bible too. I read it, but I can't remember what verse. There's one that says, it's a sin to praise the dead or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And you know how people put Jesus on their arms?
Yes.
That's praising the dead.
That's an Old Testament.
No, but it's still, you're praising Jesus,
right.
Which died. And you're putting it on your body, which tattoos is
well, it also says
too.
in the Old Testament not to make any graven images, and so having a crucifix with Christ on it is a graven image. Having any image of Jesus is a graven image, technically, really.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So people say, I'm a Christian, but obviously you're not a hardcore Christian or even try to be a Christian because now you have a tattoo on your arm with Jesus on it, holding a cross. And the most common tattoos where Jesus is holding the Catholic or whatever, the that one cross thing, the beaded cross.
Uh-huh, the rosary.
Yeah, the rosary one. I do like those crosses, though. I do like them.
Crucifix.
But I do like my Buddhist beads better. I can't even look at that. There's a gap.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. Days are getting longer. It was dark about this time a few months ago when we were driving here. Now the sun is up and shining bright.
And we have videos to prove it. Yay!
Taco Bell. Everybody loves a Taco Bell.
Alright, do we have anything else we need to say?
No.
Interesting discussion. I'm sure it's going to continue. Alright, peace out, people.
Bye.